welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Barjo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am Darren.
And it's a very special episode this week because it's a slumber party. And you know what's the most important thing about a slumber party?
Oh, comfy PJs.
Karaoke sing-alongs.
Yes, they're all important, but I think you're forgetting the key ingredient.
Oh, delicious snacks.
And...
Oh, and playing awesome games with friends.
That's right, Darren, and we'll be doing just that with SportsFriends.
And what's a party without some 4-player split-screen racing? We'll be doing just that with Mario Kart 8.
But first, Darren, your challenge, if you please.
Affirmative. Warm up your valuable grey matter, spawnlings. It's time for Darren's challenge. This week, I'm asking you to name this game. It's proved quite a hit at parties.
Oh, I definitely know the answer to this one, Darren.
Shh, Hex, let the spawnlings have their chance.
Right, guys, well, I think this fort needs a little bit of work, so while we do that, let's go and see what Goose is doing with the news.
Oh dear, I think he's asleep.
Goose, wake up, you need to read the news.
Negative, he's still asleep.
I'll fix that. Charging my pillow!
Oh, news! Goose here with all the Slumber Party Spawn Point news. Ugh. Supercomputers have once again proved their usefulness, this time assisting in the discovery of a new class of superplastics. The plastics are said to be stronger than bone, have the ability to self-heal, and are 100% recyclable. The applications of these new polymers could range from aerospace industries to processors found in computers and video game consoles. Nintendo has disabled a number of Wi-Fi services for the original Wii and the Nintendo DS. As of May 20, online play, voice communication, and leaderboard access will no longer be possible on the consoles. At this point, Nintendo stores, internet browsing, and videos on demand remain accessible. And that's all the news for this week. Back to you guys. I'm going back to sleep.
Thanks, Goose. Now let's get physical with SportsFriends.
SportsFriends is a collection of multiplayer games. The twist is that each minigame was made by a different developer. Most of these games are available in some shape or form online, but SportsFriends brings them all together in a neat little package, with some extra content to boot.
Affirmative. The main 4 games are Barry Ball, Super Pole Riders, Hokra, and Johann Sebastian Joust. There's definitely an element of skill in all of these games, but the simplistic and quirky controls really level the playing field. This, of course, makes for a great party title, because even relatively inexperienced gamers can still play and have fun.
Let's quickly explain what each game is in a little more detail. Barry Ball is basketball meets Super Smash Bros. Ultimately, your objective is to throw the ball into the pools of water that matches your team colour. But in order to do so, you'll be tussling with your opponent and trying to manage your jump stamina.
Hokra is a King of the Hill style game. The goal is to have the black pixels sitting in your coloured zones while the meter fills up. The graphics are very basic, but the core gameplay has great strategic elements as you pass between your team and bounce the ball around your opponents. Once the meter is full, you win.
Next up is Super Pole Riders. This game was created by the Australian developer Ben Foddy. You may know some of his other titles like Quop, Gerp, and of course the majestic Clop. In Super Pole Riders, the ball acts a bit like a piñata. Players vault into the air and attempt to kick the suspended ball into their opponent's goal. It's mayhem! I ended up just whacking it with my pole.
Yes, in classic Foddy style, the controls are impossible to master. And And that's always been my issue with his games. You can never really tell what you're doing right or wrong. Things just kind of happen. So this does make you tire of the game quickly, but at the same time, it's also wildly entertaining.
Super Pole Riders and Hokra both allow you to have 4 players using only 2 controllers. The simplicity of their controls means that you can just share a single controller with a friend. This takes a bit of coordination, but it does mean that 4 people can play without needing a lot of controllers. Plus it adds a kind of physical element to these mini-games, which is nice.
Yes, especially in the game Johann Sebastian Joust. Things got pretty heated in the office. Roll the tape, Carrie.
Okay, now let me explain the rules for Johann Sebastian Joust. The key to winning is to find a way to get your opponents to move their controller quickly whilst keeping yours still. The tempo of the game will be dictated by the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. Let the jousting commence!
All right.
Get ready to joust. Go.
Oh, I'm out already!
I win!
Just you and Darren.
Darren! Oh, no.
Next, we're together.
Careful, Darren.
Oh,
Oh!
Am I out already?
Goose
yeah,
out!
you moved too quickly.
Darren, I'm coming for you, Darren.
You just try it.
Darren's out!
You moved too quickly.
It's just you two.
Look over there. Look over there, Hex.
Don't fall for it, Hex.
Whoa! Oh, I'm out!
Yes!
There are many unlockable secrets cleverly hidden throughout the game. We won't spoil the fun by telling you how to unlock them all, but we will show you this one hidden game because you need to play it.
Flop takes the iconic game of Pong and then bends all the rules. The addition of more paddle controls makes for some seriously entertaining ball bouncing. It actually feels more like air hockey rather than table tennis.
Now, the danger with mini-games usually is that their gimmicks can quickly lose their charm, but I don't think any of these games fall into that trap. They each have just the right balance of fun and competitive challenge to keep you and your party pals entertained for hours. I'm giving SportsFriends 8.5 out of 10.
What I liked most was how different all the games felt, and that's because they're all made by different developers, which is a great idea. So I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I'm getting a bit sleepy, Barjo, but anyway, we should get on with some questions. First up, we've got this one from Batman, who is in Gotham City, outside Australia.
Batman and Gotham. Hang on a sec, Hex. What's that noise?
Sounds a bit like a bird or something. I wonder how it got into the studio.
Yeah, maybe. You show a clip from Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, and that is rated M. You can only show G and PG games on your show, but you showed a M game. Batman away! Well, we are sorry about that, Bats. The thing is, games are announced well before they get a rating. So when there isn't an official rating, we use our own judgment as to whether or not it's suitable to show. And we also have a team of classifiers at the ABC that make sure all of the footage we show fits under the PG classification.
Yeah, for example, we don't know yet what the next Skylanders game is going to be rated, but based on the fact that the previous games were PG, we're pretty sure it's safe to show.
Yes, and we always like to err on the side of caution, but we just figured that Plants vs. Zombies games are typically pretty family friendly, so it would likely be G or PG.
Yeah, then we found out it was rated M a few weeks before it came out, which is after we'd already talked about it a bit here. And since we found out, we haven't shown it, so apologies for showing that. But let's go on with this one now from Larry, who is watching you and controlling you in Queensland.
Am I not in my own control, Hex? Quick, test. Slap my hand.
I was watching your review of Lego The Hobbit, and Barjo and Darren said that Bilbo and the dwarves were travelling to Misty Mountain. You were both very wrong. The characters in The Hobbit were travailing to the Lonely Mountain. The Misty Mountains are in Lord of the Rings, not, I repeat, not in The Hobbit, so you two should both drink out of the Noob Cup. Also, will there be any sequel to Spore or any games similar to it coming out in the next forever? Thanks, Larry Bovinsky. P.S. Barjo, do these. Hex, do these. Darren, read this, or you'll be put to sleep.
Oh, let's get him on the phone, Hex.
Yeah.
Darren, read the letter.
In the biggest noob ever in the history of forever. Hex should is the best in good game. Goose is second, and Barjo's my master, and I will make him all the toasted cheese sandwiches he wants because I'm a mega noob.
Thanks, Darren.
Uh-oh, it sounds like someone's gonna have to drink from the Noob Cup, Barjo.
Well, I think if anyone should drink from it, it should be Darren. He said Misty Mountain first, and that just threw me off.
What? is that sound?
I don't know, Hex. Sound kind of like a bird. That is a bird! Go away, bird! Wicked beast of snore! Go away!
It's got something in its mouth. I think it's a message.
It's a scary bird. I have a slight bird phobia.
It's from Darren.
What does Darren say?
It says, hello, Barjo and Hex. My data retrieval system must have experienced a bug and cross-referenced the wrong books. I'll have to run a diagnostic and maybe defrag my hard drives to ensure it doesn't happen again.
Oh, well, that's a very convenient excuse, isn't it? Barjo speaking.
Hello, Barjo. Did you get my message?
Yes, we did, Darren, but why on earth are you sending messages by scary carrier pigeon?
Oh, I've begun a study into all the various forms of communication, Barjo.
Oh, that explains why you faxed us the other day.
Oh, affirmative. Did you know carrier pigeons originally only carried messages one way, back to their home, but by training them with food, they could reliably transport messages to 2 locations. Remarkable creatures.
So that's why it smells like birdie poo-poos in here. You've been feeding pigeons, Darren. I'm both impressed and annoyed, but that's all beside the point. I think the real issue here is that you were totally wrong and have just made up some excuse to get out of drinking from the noob cup.
Negative. It was a bug. I'm only a robot, Barjo, and I'm only as good as my programmers made me. What's your excuse? As a human, you should know better. Besides, liquids and my precious grill don't mix.
Yeah, Badge. I mean, really, you should know better. I think you should just drink from the noob cup and just get it over with.
Affirmative, Barjo. Listen to Hex.
This isn't fair.
Do it, Barjo.
Fine. Check your facts better next time, Darren.
I can't promise miracles, Barjo, but you should also check the facts next time.
All right, guys, the cup has been drunk from, so let's just move on and answer some more questions. We've got a pretty technical question here, so why don't you stay on the line, Darren? Let's move on to this one from Barjo's twin brother, Junior, who is under your desk in New South Wales.
Tastes like fail. Have some, Darren.
Negative.
Hi GGSP, your show is great and I watch it all the time. Anyway, here's my question. I know that the PS4 isn't backwards compatible, but I also heard about this thing called PlayStation Now. How does it work? Also, I have one more question. I saw an article on the internet with rumors saying that the PS4 may become backwards compatible, based on a tweet that was sent. I have sent so many questions to you guys that haven't been answered, so please answer. P.S. If you don't answer, I'm going to scare you from under your desk. Bye! Well, PlayStation Now is going to be a game streaming service, which is a relatively new thing. So, Darren, how does game streaming work?
Well, I guess the simplest way to describe how it works is that it's like streaming a video online, except you're streaming the video of a game that you're actually playing.
So, let me see if I've got this right. You play as if it's on your console, but when you use the controller, the commands get sent over the internet to another console which is running the game, right?
Affirmative, Hex. However, it's usually a server farm that is running the game rather than a console. That server farm then processes your commands and plays the game and sends the video of that interaction back to you. And all that happens many times a second. So with a good internet connection, it will respond almost instantly to your commands. Sadly, they haven't revealed any plans to bring the service to Australia yet.
Well, fingers crossed we get it at some point, but I think that's all we need from you now, Darren, so we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, goodbye.
Bye. And we also saw that tweet about actual backwards compatibility. However, it was only talking about potentially bringing backwards compatibility with PlayStation 1 and 2 games.
Yes, it is still just an unconfirmed rumour at this point, so I would not get your hopes up until Sony officially confirms it.
Indeed, always take rumours with a big grain of salt. But let's move on to this one now from Gracie, the chocolate queen of banana monkeys in Sydney, New South Wales.
The chocolate queen of banana monkeys. Do you know the royal salute for that one?
I never know these royal salutes, and I don't understand how you know so many of them.
It goes like this. It goes, peel the banana.
That sounds quite aggressive.
No, it's actually quite a pleasant greeting.
Not the chocolate banana queen.
The aggressive greeting is more like this. They have a strange culture.
Kirby is a new DS game, but I have checked all over the internet for Kirby on Nintendo DS, but it just isn't there. I need help. Will I eventually be able to get it on Nintendo DS? Because on the computer it only has it for Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo 2DS. Can you help me figure this out or I will go nuts? Then from everywhere, squirrels will try to eat and kill me. P.S. I love your show. Can you please review Kirby and answer my question? And Hex, do these. Wee. From the chocolate queen of banana monkeys, praise me.
Praise the monkey queen. Well, Gracie, sorry to say, but there's a simple reason why you can't find it on DS anywhere, and that's because it's only coming out on 3DS or 2DS.
But we are planning to review it in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for that to see if it's going to be worth upgrading to a 3DS for. But for now, let's move on to this one from Bryn in Perth, Western Australia.
Until next time, Monkey Queen. Hi, GGSP. I tried asking this before, but you didn't respond. You review it a while back. No, it was like a car crash simulator. I watched the episode, but missed the name of it. And what platform it's on. Please help. It looked like a Goyid game. I could like to download. Thanks, if you answer. How about that?
Well, Bryn, I'm pretty sure the game you're thinking of goes by the catchy and imaginative title of Next Car Game. Can we put that up on the screen, please, Mr. Editor?
Yes, it's available now in an early beta form on PC. It comes with a Destruction Derby mode and a few races, but the real fun is to be had with the technology demo it comes with. It gives you a huge playground of vehicle mayhem and destruction to play in. It's pretty awesome.
And you can actually get a limited version of that tech demo for free if you go to the game's official website. Although you do need to sign up to their newsletter and then give them your email address and all that sort of stuff.
At the moment, it's only confirmed to be coming out on PCs. If it sells well enough, the developers have said they might be interested in making versions for PS4 and Xbox One, though.
Alright, well, I think that's all the time we have for this week, but if you'd like to ask us a question, then you can go here and send it in. Now, back to the pillow fort. Barjo, we should send a message back to Darren using the carrier pigeon.
Great idea. I will lure it with the food.
Yes, it was trained
Come,
with
pigeon.
food.
Come hither.
Chicken.
You're scanning.
What about the message? Guys, one of my most cherished all-time gaming memories was staying up till the wee hours of the morning at sleepovers with my friends, battling it out in the intense kart racing of Mario Kart and the Nintendo 64.
There have been Mario Kart games released on just about every Nintendo console. So naturally, with the release of the Wii U, it's time for a new Mario Kart game, Mario Kart 8! Once again, Nintendo has sought to strike a clever balance between keeping a lot of what fans will love and recognise from the previous games, as well as introducing a few new features.
Yeah, not to mention an upgrade to the visuals. My jaw dropped when I jumped into that first race. Mario Kart has never looked this good.
I know, right? It looks amazing. Starting out on the 50cc races is a good way to ease yourself into the world of kart racing, as the vehicles handle a little easier and don't go as fast. The character roster brings in many of the old favourites, including some new ones, such as the Koopalings and Pink Gold Peach.
I don't really get the point of Pink Gold Peach. I mean, it's just Peach, just all weird and metallic.
What's wrong with being metallic?
No, nothing, Darren. I didn't mean you.
Yes, well, it is a bit silly. The vehicle customization makes a return, though, which is great. And you get these by collecting coins as you race.
It's a shame the vehicle customization didn't have a bigger impact on the gameplay. I found that equipping different tyres or hang gliders only made the tiniest changes to my lap times.
I don't know, Darren. There's a lot going on in this game. I don't think it needs to be overly complicated with too much tinkering. And there are a great mix of vehicles, with the regular karts being joined by motorcycles and cars.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Mario Kart has always been about light-hearted fun, although that won't stop you from getting seriously competitive. These races are packed full of edge-of-your-seat action with loads of surprises. The tables can turn multiple times throughout a race.
Especially with all the underwater sections, flying sections, some tracks move or have edges you can fall off. There's even crazy roaming obstacles.
Yeah, often I would fall off a track thinking I was going to have to be lifted back on, only to find I'd fallen onto some other part of the track and I could just keep racing. There are so many great design features that make every race a thrill.
Plus, they've packed out the tracks. There are 32 altogether.
Affirmative. They've not only revamped old favourites like Moo Moo Meadows, Sherbetland, Cheap Cheap Beach, and Royal Raceway, but they've thrown in loads of new ones as well.
The new tracks are amazing, aren't they? It's hard to focus on the race when there are such big moments happening around you. That said, I'm so glad they kept some of the classics in there as well.
Yeah, me too. And with new course features like anti-gravity racing, it's made them even better.
Oh, so much better. You know, Toad's Turnpike used to be my most hated track with all those annoying trucks and cars sending me into a spin. But now I absolutely love it because there's so many ways to navigate that course. so much fun.
Let's talk about my favourite part of Mario Kart, the items! Falling to the back of the race is no fun, but scoring a lightning bolt to slow everyone else down always makes me feel better.
Ah, those lightning bolts are brutal. There are, of course, all the familiar greats. Booster mushrooms, slippery bananas, homing red shells, and the unpredictable greens.
Oh, I love that feeling of just narrowly missing a green shell. But some of the new additions are great too. For some Aussie flavour, there's now a boomerang which can knock out players ahead of you. But my absolute favourite is the piranha plant, which chomps nearby players.
Mario Kart is designed with a rubber band catch-up system. This allows players to pick up more powerful boosts at the back of the field, allowing them quick comebacks into the race. One new boost addition is the Super Horn, which is the first ever weapon that can defeat the dreaded blue shell, which attacks racers in first place.
You know, guys, the more I played of this, the more I started to feel like this was going to be a 10 out of 10. It had everything. Loads of great tracks, hugely improved graphics, heaps of action. But then, disaster.
What?
The battle mode.
Oh, yeah.
Above all, my favourite memories of Mario Kart are fighting it out against my friends in those close quarters battle arenas. Hunting each other down in split screen, trying to pop their 3 balloons before I lost all of my own. Pure karting bliss. So you can imagine how upset I was to find no battle mode maps.
It's true. There is indeed still the battle mode, but it simply takes place on the large tracks that you race on in the main game. They're much too large, so you spend the majority of your time simply trying to find your friends. You can pad it out with bots, but where's the fun in that?
Indeed, Darren. This is a bad decision, but I can kind of see why they've gone down this path. You can play Mario Kart 8 online with up to 12 players, and many gamers like to play games online nowadays. But it just does not suit this game at all.
No, it really doesn't. And there's no mini-map. You can't see where other players are, so you don't end up with those cool one-on-one battles.
The question is, does this ruin the rest of the game for you, Hex?
Well, no, this is still an incredible kart racer. It's filled with loads of the iconic features that make this series so great. Best tracks in the series so far, and so many of them. It's just such a shame that my favourite part of the game, the battle mode, has been changed for the worse. It could have been a 10, but that knocks it down to an 8 for me.
Excluding battle mode, this is still the best Mario Kart game to date, and in fact it's one of the best games on the Wii U, so I think it deserves 9 out of 10.
Well, sadly that brings us to the end of our Slumber Party special. It was so much fun, guys, but now I'm really tired.
Oh, me too.
Well, before we embark on a well-earned rest, it's time for me to unveil the answer to my challenge. Earlier, I asked you to name this party favourite. The answer is Kinect Adventures. It was released in 2010 and featured a variety of mini-games featuring jump-in and out multiplayer play.
In fact, it was one of the very first Kinect games ever made. Next week on the show, we have a look at some incredible vistas in the last Tinker City of Colours.
It's amazing, doesn't it? We also simulate the drama of life with Mies in Tomodachi Life.
Thank you for being with me today. Thank you too.
Ooh, I can't wait for you two to see my new apartment.
You have a new apartment?
In Tomodachi Life, Badger.
Well, until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Barjo out.
Darren out.
All right, guys. Oh, we're gonna hit the hay.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Sleep mode engage.